Welcome to all members of Rescue and Relief family. Before I introduce you to today's guest, I'll request you to please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we monetize this channel to create secondary resource for our children and grandparents. Today, in Donor Speak, episode 6, we will have conversation with a very esteemed and dear member of our organization, Professor Anindita Bhadra. Professor Bhadra is a behavioral biologist researching on street dog behavior at the Department of Biological Sciences and is also an Associate Dean of International Relations and Outreach at IISER Kolkata. She is also the founding chairperson of INYAS, that is Indian National Young Academy of Sciences, and past co-chair of Global Young Academy. She is also an amazing actor and passionately follows her love for acting at her theatre group, Kalyani Mukhosh. A dog lover and a person who believes in the need to have a lasting change in the society. It is said, positive change in society does not come with opinion, but with action. Professor Bhadra is one such person who believes in action to bring a change. For me, she is like an elder sister, a guide, and a person who I call first whenever I want to learn something new or want to take a tough call. She always comes up with out-of-the-box ideas which have helped me, my girls and children in ways beyond measurable. I feel honored to welcome Professor Anindita Bhadra. Firstly, I would like to thank her for being always there for my children and grandparents, because without her support, our work would have been incomplete, and also for taking out time for today's conversation from her important schedule. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddharth.
Ma'am, my first question will be, both men and women enjoy equal opportunities, but as far as freedom and safety of women are concerned, India lags. What is your comment on that?
See, I think there are multiple issues. Of course, there are basic issues like legal support, the infrastructure support, and political support. That is like the bigger issues which we cannot control. But even before that, I think there is this problem that even today, though we talk about equal opportunities, in our society, often girls and boys are not brought up the same way. For simple examples, even in educated upper middle class societies, you would often see that girls are given dolls to play with and kitchen sets to play with, and boys are given cars to play with. Division, discrimination, unequal treatment starts at that level. And, eventually grows into a bigger thing where girls and boys are not finally at the same level because they have been tailored to think in a certain way about themselves, to think in a certain way about their bodies, about their personalities. And, the girls are supposed to behave properly, whereas boys can be rowdy. And this is a standard picture of society, which is not just in our homes. You see it in, entertainment all the time. These serials that people watch on television, movies. There are umpteen examples where there is this, the timid girl needs to be won over by the macho man, or the chivalrous man needs to protect the honor of the girl. So even at that level, we don't think about these things, but these are things which are there in our social framework, which creates a lot of problems. And so as simple as something like eve teasing, a boy thinks it's okay to call out to a girl or make a comment to a girl, and it's that's how you impress your male friends, and it's not okay. So that is where I think the basic problem is, that if you don't, even in places where everything is secure and a girl is completely safe to walk out on the street at 11 p.m., as parents, we would still be worried. I have a girl and a boy at home, and I see this all the time, that what is allowed for my son is not allowed for my daughter, even though the daughter is younger, not from our side, but from people around us. So, if you're a girl, you should do this. And that is where I think the division in society starts very early on. And that is where insecurities start. That is where lack of safety starts. Girls don't learn to protect themselves. Girls are not taught to, take care of themselves, because they always have somebody else to take care of them. And that is where we are already creating a divide while bringing up our girls and boys.
Right, ma'am. And on this topic, ma'am, actually yesterday I was talking to some students from a premier technical institute of our country, and I came to know that there are students who avail prostitution at a very early age and create peer pressure for other students. And in case they deny it, they have been shammed as so-called namard. Your take on that and suggestions to the young students these days, ma'am? Because as an organization, we are coming up with data of that young people today are more availing prostitution compared to what it was 10 years back.
One reason could be that young people have more money and more freedom. When you are in a hostile environment at a very early age, you are among your peer and you don't have the family regulations to stick to anymore. That can be one reason. I didn't know this. This is shocking to me. But from the perspective of a teacher and a mother, this is the first thing that comes to my mind, that this is a possibility, that there are young people who are more and more numbers of people who are getting into education and going away from home. And if they have not had a very strict upbringing, where they have their ethos very clearly defined, then it's easy to stray. That's one thing. Second thing could be that there are people with more money. I generally have a feeling from our time to this time, the present day students and young people that I see around me are mostly coming from nuclear families. Their parents have given them a lot more freedom than our parents did. But at the same time, they also have bigger pocket money. When they come to their hostels, everybody has a laptop, everybody has a smartphone, everybody has money to go out and eat with friends, which we could not think about at that age. So with more money and more freedom, you also have more, wish for indulgence. That's one kind of issue. The second issue, I think, is, again, a societal issue, that from the perspective of our society, we don't talk about things like pornography, things about we don't watch an adult movie with our children, right? It's all hush hush. So we don't bring out what is a very normal human behavior before our children when they're maturing. We don't have a frank talk with them. We don't tell them that, physical relationships are normal, but then you should take these precautions and you should, not just indulge in a relationship, but probably first find the right person. These are lessons that should be taught from a very young age, because now there's a lot more, opportunity to become aware of things at a much earlier age because of the internet, because of gadgets in everybody's hands. So if parents and teachers, we don't have schools with proper sex education. So if parents and teachers don't open up and have a good talk with the kids when they are growing up, then they are more likely to go and experiment. It could be, just the thrill of it, that I'm breaking rules, I'm doing something which I'm not supposed to do, just like people, would try to go and do, break a college rule just for the fun of it. There's an age when young people are more prone to doing that, that there's a thrill in breaking rules, and all of us have broken rules. But which rules are okay to break, which rules are not? That is the training that young people should be given. And there is an absolute need that we need to have more sex education. And it's not just prostitution. If you look at the number of rape cases that we come across every single day in our country, there's definitely a surge. And why? Because there is also suppression. People are not having the freedom to talk about these things. They are not having the freedom to go and engage in relationships at an early age. So where people might have engaged in a relationship and had a healthy sexual relationship and they're not able to do that, there's a lot of frustration building up. And that is where the other kind of easy to avail method, which you can get with money, can be taken more easily. And then, of course, peer pressure is a big thing among very young people. So that's how often people get into drinking habits, get into drug habits. So all of this is very normal at that age.
So, ma'am, what will be your suggestions to the students, ma'am, young students today?
Firstly, I think if they haven't had the opportunity to have discussions with adults, communities, student communities should set up discussion groups among themselves. Talk about it. Don't just think that it's just the physical thing you need and I'll go there, pay money and get it out. Why are you trying to do this? Some people who are more aware, they should talk about the cons and they should talk about why they should not be supporting prostitution. There are young girls who are getting affected, being sold off because there are people paying money to buy this. So raise awareness. Raise awareness, talk to them. They are smart people. They are intelligent people. Of course, they'll understand. But creation of awareness is very, very important.
Ma'am, from problems to a little bit of solutions, ma'am. Like you being an animal lover yourself, Diwali is around the corner. And we celebrate Diwali with firecrackers, causing environment pollution and also harm to street animals. With the same amount, if we try to bring light and help helpless child by buying them sweets, books, foods, probably give them education, would it not give us any pleasure? What are your thoughts on that?
Of course it would. Of course it would. But, this is also something that I keep telling my children that, yes, when we were kids, nobody told us that crackers are bad. But now we are telling you that, they are harming the environment. But it's also, we need to finally strike a balance. It's a problem everywhere where you talk about sustainability, right? Because there are traditions that people don't want to break, or there's something that they have been so used to celebrating or something that they enjoy. They don't want to give it up. So my solution is, okay, do it, but do it in a very moderate amount. Don't use, noisy crackers. My kids are also animal lovers, so they don't want noisy crackers because that scares the dogs a lot. They know that. Don't use things which give out a lot of smoke because you can see that it's creating a lot of damage. Do it in moderation. Buy a few crackers which are the least damaging to the environment. There's no cracker which is eco-friendly, but the least damage that you can do to the environment. And the rest, I encourage lighting candles and burning diyas. You buy candles from local artisans, that supports them. You buy, but every year you buy diyas, and the local potters get sustenance from that. So do that. And of course, give to people around you who cannot afford. So it's not just Diwali, it's every celebration. If you can share, that gives you much more pleasure than if you just celebrate on your own. And I think that is the basic philosophy of celebrations, that you share, whether with your friends or with your family. And if you can just keep growing your family and include more people in your network, then sharing becomes even more happy.
Ma'am, you have been supporting our girls and grandparents for almost 4 years now. Have we met or unmet or exceeded your expectation?
I think you are doing a fantastic job. And I know how you've been affected by the pandemic and by the Amphan. I have seen the damage that has been caused to your shelter. And the fact that you've stood next to them and you have continued to, put all means together to raise funds and, keep the girls, the children and the elderly people going, sustaining them. I think that definitely needs to be applauded. I keep telling people about the great work that you've been doing, and I really hope that there'll be more people supporting you.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, it's not my work only, ma'am. It's your work also, ma'am. It's a work that we are doing it together, ma'am. You are a family member. I think I always say this, and I say this to everybody, that what you have done for my girls, and very few people have shown that kind of interest in our world. Ma'am, you have visited our Behala orphanage, and how would you describe the experience during your meet with my children? Are there any memories you still have in your mind?
Oh, yes, of course. I still remember the cricket match and the beautiful way, the children served us food and they stayed with us the whole day, all the, interactions we had, the happy faces. It was so beautiful. And, if the pandemic was not ongoing, I'm sure we would have visited more often. But not just I, my children also remembered that, we went there, we had the cricket match, you had all the Avengers characters as the teams. It was real fun.
Okay. Ma'am, you yourself have faced many difficulties and struggle to come to this point of your life where you're successful now. You have seen failures and overcome hurdles. What is your message to the youth on facing failures to earn success and how to deal with it? Your journey from failure to as a successful person and your definition of happiness.
See, I don't like giving out messages, but I can tell you what my philosophy is. I always see the glass a little more than half full rather than half empty. I am a very positive person by nature. I've always been like this. So even when I faced hurdles, I have always told myself, you keep doing your work and time always turns. You cannot just be having a bad day every day. So the wheel will turn, and that's nature. There are ups and downs. So if you're going through a valley right now, you're also going to go and reach the peak at some point of time. So don't give up. So that is my motto in life. I never give up. I believe in myself and I believe in my journey. So for me, I don't set myself goals that, I have to do this by 1 month, or I have to achieve that prize or that grant. But I believe in the journey, the experience of doing things, the learning. So every day is a new day. And that is how I live my life even now. So I don't know what success, getting to a certain phase in my job might be a success to some people. But for me, when somebody says, do you think you're successful? I say, yes, I think I'm successful, not because I have earned an award or a position, but I think I'm successful because I have been able to live my dream. And my dream has always been to be a good teacher, a good mother, good researcher. And that is what I'm doing. I don't know how good I am, but at least I am satisfied in what I'm doing. So that is how I define my success in life. What is happiness? Happiness, again, it's a very difficult to define word, but I am mostly happy as a person. And for me, my family, having my family around me, having my students supported, having my friends, everybody taken care of, makes me happy. So my happiness is not really in money or in prizes or in grandeur, but when people around me are okay, I'm happy. So I think that is a very basic way of living life. And if I have to tell people, how to be successful, I don't know. But I would say that I think that is my motto in life. That much I can say, that, just think about the future, have a dream, set yourself goals, but not targets. There's a difference that, you have to hit a target, but you can reach a goal. So enjoy the journey.
And that was a very beautiful message, ma'am. Like, a lot to take from that message. Ma'am, what would you like to change in our organization? Is there something that you don't like and want us to improve as a feedback, ma'am?
Not really. I think the organization is doing very well. I would definitely like it if more and more donors would interact with you and the children, and we could have, more
Socially.
engagement. But again, yeah, socially. But again, that would depend on the situation of the pandemic. But yeah, I think you're doing quite well in terms of the organization.
Ma'am, I look forward to have you in my project and entire IISER team, because it's been,
Sure.
we are also facing that problem because since the pandemic has started, the number of project visits have reduced hugely, and we are actually facing a lot of problem with that, because our children, they stay under a boundary, right? They do not have much access to go out, especially the girls who have been trafficked.
Yes.
So they live in confinement, and now we are trying a lot of things with all this online, but we are facing problem in terms of our counselors are telling us that we are not getting people into the project, and that is a problem. And with that, another problem we have also government interfering, in the sense that they don't want people to come into the project. So we are in kind of a very messy place, where we want the pandemic to get over quickly, so that we can again do our work as free flowing it was before the pandemic. So we're looking forward for that. Ma'am, there are many people, I know that they have hiccup before coming and support an NGO, because trust is always an issue. I remember, ma'am, when you first supported our organization, you didn't come. You heard about us and you supported, right? And you later, part of the journey, you came to our project. We started knowing each other, and that happened. Ma'am, what will be a message to people who are looking forward to be part of our organization?
I think only thing that I had done at that point of time is you visited the institute. I had a talk with you, right? And I was convinced that you are genuine. And then you have your website. So people can visit your website, see what you're doing. There's enough evidence that you're really working. And they can always, call up and ask people like us, or write an email and ask us, who have already been engaging with you over some time, whether if they have any questions and queries about your work, then people like us can always give feedback. But I guess for people who would like to get engaged and involved and make some change in society, we always have to begin with some level of trust. We cannot just not trust people and consider that everybody is here to loot us, because then nothing will go forward. So
nothing will change.
Degree of trust. So I think it's a two-way traffic. You will always you try to convince us, but we also need to be convinced. So it is a two-way traffic, and there would be some people who would be convinced, and there would always be some people who would still not be convinced. But I think you are doing your job, and then the rest is up to us.
So friends, that was Professor Anindita Bhadra, and her thoughts about the situation of society at large in our country, and her view of the little work or impact we as an organization is trying to do to bring a lasting change. We are grateful to her for taking out her precious time to be with us and convey the message to our family members and the mass. We will complete this episode with her final thought on what she enjoys most in our organization, or any other message she wants to give to our viewers.
I think what I enjoy most about your organization is this personal touch. You keep in touch with us, you come talk to us, call us up, send us messages on special occasions. And, we kind of feel that we are part of the organization, though we are not seeing you every day. We are not seeing the children every day, but we feel like we belong. And you do this with so much passion and care. The way you care for the children, you also put in a lot of care towards the people who stand by you. And that, I think, is a very nice way of working. You have very, very personal interactions with everyone. And that is very nice. And I hope you're going to be able to keep it up.
Ma'am, we'll try our best, and we look forward, like people like you also helping us in this, in introducing our work to more new people. Ma'am, it's the work is completely depending upon the network, ma'am. So the more people we reach, the more underprivileged people we will be reaching. So that is the idea. As an organization, definitely, ma'am, we have grown a lot. Actually, to be very honest, we never thought the organization will be reaching out to so many beneficiaries, but I think people like you have stood by during difficult times. Thank you for that. And ma'am, thank you for coming today with your time. It was great.
My pleasure.
It was great having you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.